Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to another episode of the Compendium of Discomfort. My name is Michael, and recently I reactivated my Netflix account after a long time. And one of the things I watched was Last Samurai Standing, because I have a thing for Junichi Okada since I saw his nipples throwing a huge shadow in the first. Is it throwing a shadow or casting a shadow in the first the Fable movie? Actually, I watched the second first and I loved it, but yeah. Anyway, so Junichi Okada is a very sexy man and very fun, and I like him, and he's one of the very good action performers in Japan. And now he did this Netflix series with one of my not favorite directors. That's Michihito Fujii, who is kind of the Japanese content creator for Netflix, and which is probably a great job, and people love his stuff. I think it's mostly mediocre. For example, we had The Parades, or we had Hard Days, we had A Family, The Journalist, and We Are, some more. Some of his movies I think are okay, some are more bad. Last year I watched Faceless, which was just bland, and yeah, just stuff you can enjoy while ironing your shirts or something. Yeah. And so I was kind of skeptical how this thing might turn out, because the trailer looked pretty cool, and then I noticed the director and I thought, is he able to do something pretty cool? I'm not sure. Anyway, so this is an adaptation of a series of novels written by Shogo Imamura, and it's basically kind of a death game thing, so similar to a little bit similar to maybe something like Squid Game or Alice in Borderlands, which I just started watching the third season, because that actually I enjoyed, unlike Squid Game, which I didn't enjoy very much. Let me take this off, that irritates me too much. Anyway, so here, Fujii directed together with Kento Yamaguchi and Toru Yamamoto. Kento Yamaguchi was the second screenwriter next to Fujii. And it's a 6-episode season. And just to take the biggest criticism I have just away, I think it feels rushed and too slow at the same time. Besides that, it's actually pretty good. It's pretty fun. I have some criticism, but it's not devastating to the point where I can't recommend it. It's quite solid TV show. I enjoyed the 6 episodes, and yeah, just was mildly disappointed. Anyway, so cast, we have of course a star cast. We have so many famous people. We have Junichi Okada, like I said, for example, The Fable. We have not just The Fable, but for example The Eternal Zero, or The Fighter Pilot, because he made like the worst movies with Yamazaki, the Godzilla -1 movies, like these really like nationalist movies. Okada was in there. I will never forgive him for that, but I still love him, so can't be helped. We have Yumiya Fujisaki, who was, for example, in The Parades and in Great Teacher Onizuka. We have Kaya Kiyohara, who was, for example, in another Fujii movie like the 18X2 Beyond Useful Days, but she was in Bushido as well. Bushido was this movie by, what was his name? The Last of the Wolves director. Of course, if I search on the internet, first I get the rapper Bushido, the German rapper who is not very good. I can't recommend that. But the movie by Kazuya Shiraishi, that was his name. She was in that. We have Masahiro Higashide, the guy who moved to the mountains because of his big scandal, cheating on his wife while making Asako 1 and 2, the Ryusuke Hamaguchi movie. But recently he's back quite big and did a lot of movies. For example, he was in Transcending Dimensions or Dare to Stop Us 2. He was in Winnie, September 1923. And a lot of other stuff quite recently. And he's really, really fun in this movie. Then we have, of course, Shota Sometani as an Ainu. Not the greatest decision. Some people will be very angry about casting someone who is not part of the minority that he's presenting. But Shota Sometani is lovely and I still like him very much. He was, for example, in Cells at Work or Scarlet or Saint Young Man and The Young Strangers. A great actor. You have seen him in 1,000 movies. We have Taichi Saotome, who was, for example, in Zatoichi, the Kitano one. She was in Maru. Maru was great. Watched Maru. And Last of the Wolves. Wonderful. We have Yuya Endo. For example, Gesuidos. Gesuidos. Wonderful. And some more. The cast is just full with famous people. I mean, it's Netflix. It's Netflix money. You can see the Netflix money. It looks pretty great besides some little bit not so great CGI, but that's rare and not that bad. It's just visual CGI. It does its job, and how they had to cheat a little bit here, especially with like big establishing shots of places that don't exist like that. It works fine. And anyway, so we're in the Meiji era. That's like late 19th century, and a lot of people are sick. I forgot what kind of epidemic is there. A lot of people are sick, and Okada's character Shujiro Saga decides to join a mysterious challenge where he can win a lot of money, and about 300 people, he says 292 exactly, join this challenge, like all the greatest fighters who now have no reason anymore because the fight is over. Japan modernized, there's no like samurai class anymore, you can't just wear a sword anymore, and all the fighting is basically over. And this Okada's character is an old war hero, kind of. He's one of the most famous people from that period, like famous for killing others. He's basically the greatest fighter in the country, and his wife and family and his kids and everyone is sick, and he doesn't have money. He sold everything he got except for his slightly rusty sword, and so he's just like, okay, I just join this thing, whatever it is, and try to win the money. And as it turns out, it's a kind of death game. It's a race all through from Kyoto to Tokyo, and whoever reaches the end gets 100,000 yen, which was quite a lot of money at that time. Not that much today. Yeah, and they all have like wooden tags, and if you kill someone, you can take it, and you need some to progress on your journey. And yeah, basically that's it. It's one big game, not like Alice in Borderlands or Squid Game where you have small games all the time. It's one big game. Probably there is gonna be some different challenge at the end, but that's not clear yet. So far it looks like one game. Anyway, so that's what we're doing, and I said it feels rushed and slow at the same time, kind of. So the slow part is that this is actually just chapter 1. So basically it's a long setup for the bigger story, just establishes the characters, and then it's over. I didn't know that at the beginning. I thought, oh my god, maybe I get a whole story, but then it would be super rushed. And it does one thing that I hate about basically the whole concept of a death game show. Because what I believe people should do when creating some kind of death game movie or show is that you present a big cast equally. Like, you can't just focus on this is the main character, these are his friends, and these people will not die all that soon. I think you should establish more characters just to make sure that whoever people might believe could be the main character, that this character can actually just disappear. So you get some more thrill, and the games are not so predictable. That's one thing I really, really disliked about Squid Game, that every episode I knew, oh, you're gonna die next. And it's just so predictable and boring, and has a story thread in the first season that doesn't lead to anything. So I just didn't enjoy it. Alice in Borderland, on the other hand, did a better job by eliminating 2 characters who seem first very important, and they're suddenly gone. So you feel like it's more possible that this might happen. And Last Samurai Standing does something slightly similar quite early, when they have a police officer appear who's being played by a quite famous actor. That's Takayuki Yamada, who you might know from stuff like Crow Zero or Water Boys. And he's a quite famous face, and he just gets killed 1 minute later. He shows up and bye-bye, and that's it. So just at least from the status of being a known actor, doesn't protect you. So that's a good start. And short time later, we get into the next trap of this kind of show. We have 2 other characters, like, who are just in the game, and one is presented as this like nasty, like, looks like a homeless guy, but he's like the monster. He's just following our hero and tries to kill him, and he just loves to fight, and he just wants to kill. So he's the main threat here, or potentially, because very early in the show he gets confronted with like an elite samurai who's a way much more skilled fighter than him. But the problem is, only one of them gets a flashback. So the guy with a flashback is gonna die. Yeah, so that makes it predictable again. And suddenly the whole show does the next big no-no that basically all death game things seem to share, and that actually most things about competitions or tournaments share. Like, suddenly the main event isn't the main event because suddenly everybody is just looking for some mystery or secret behind the scenes. And I think that's the most boring thing, that people try to elevate their story to make it more special. Like if you have a tournament movie or a death game movie, the tournament or the death game is the main event. That's why people come. That's what people want to see. I don't give a about anything that happens backstage. I don't need a big secret. I don't need to know why the organizers are organizing this. I'm totally okay with people organizing a death game just being like perverted weirdos who enjoy to watch people die. That's good enough for me, and people get into that and they just somehow want to get out, and we just play through it, and maybe after that we have a little discovery about the organizers or something. That can, I mean, this mystery can be in there, but it shouldn't be a distraction from the actual competition that you came to watch. It's a really stupid idea, and I don't know why everybody believes that should be more important than the actual thing that gets us. Like, this show was announced like here, like 222 warriors fight for their life to get some money. That's the thing, that's the selling point. I don't care what the antagonists are or what their motivation is. It's nice to have as a backstory or something, or as something, some reason why some people might take revenge on them after everything is over. But the most important thing in a death game show or death game movie should be the death game. Yeah? And they pretty soon lose interest in the death game aspect here and just go like, oh, let's hunt the organizers. And I hope they fix that in the second season, because like after every episode there's like this counter, like in Battle Royale, which did a much better job at this whole death game thing, while still focusing quite a lot on main characters, and it's quite clear who the main characters are, but it establishes enough and gives us enough other stuff around it. That's why I think this is so rushed, because we don't see many of the other participants. We don't see many of the other people there. We don't really know what's going on. We don't know who... sometimes the organizers talk about the other participants and they bet on them, but we don't really know them for the most part. And at the end of the season, they suddenly introduce this whole like big cast of more characters who might show up in season 2 or whatever. But I felt like it's a little too late. And yeah, I would have preferred to have twice as many episodes and just a wider story. Just give me more, just establish all these characters. Make half of the episodes just like focus on different groups, different fractions of people who somehow travel through this adventure. Would be way more interesting. But yeah, they just go for like, oh, we must find out who put us in this terrible situation. And it's still fine. It still works very okayish. It's still entertaining. It's just not what I want from a show like this. I feel like it's a false advertisement. And that's how I basically feel with almost every tournament movie. And yeah, that's a little bit depressing. But a good point is Okada was responsible for all the action, as far as I know. And he's really good at it. So the action looks really nice, really fine. Wonderful fight scenes, different styles, quite gory, quite a lot of blood, and yeah, so the action is really nice. That works really well. The whole show looks pretty fine. Like I said, the cast is pretty great. And yeah, I just hope for more death game focus in season 2, whenever it might come. But so far, I'm positively surprised still, because it's better what I expected from Mr. Fujii. And yeah, that sounds like the manager of Yokozuna, if you remember Yokozuna. quite impressive guy. Anyway, so yeah. It messes up some things, but I didn't expect Michihito Fujii to actually entertain me that well. I'm happy that Okada didn't star in just another turd, and that's why I'm still quite happy with it. I like it. It's good. It's not amazing. It's not gonna be anything that people will talk about for years to come, but it's good. It's good entertainment. Give it a try and enjoy. And that's it for today. Thank you very much. See you. Bye.